Hello, I'm Robert Kelly, and today on Record All Monsters, Noriaki Yuasa defines the Gamera franchise with Gamera vs. Gyaos. Gamera movies had a problem, and Noriaki Yuasa had a solution. For those of you who don't remember our previous Gamera film, Gamera vs. Barugon had been a full-blown A picture for Daiei Studios. Director of the first Gamera film, Noriaki Yuasa, was bumped down to effects director, with experienced journeyman Shigeo Tanaka taking over on the adult-oriented, big-budget sequel. As successful as the original Gamera had been, that success was largely due to the film's appeal with children, who were bored senseless by the grown-up sequel. It was observed that they ran through the aisles of the theater, hung out at the concession stand, and only really watched the monster scenes. So Daiei had a problem, and Noriaki Yuasa had a solution. That solution was to make the movies explicitly for children, and the first step in that process was having series screenwriter Nissan Takahashi follow the structure of a children's picture book. Have the monsters introduced early, along with all of the characters in conflict, and let the rest of the story play out from there. According to Stuart Galbraith's commentary on Arrow Video's recent Blu-ray set, where most of my information from this episode comes, Yuasa wanted this film to be targeted squarely at kids, as suited his own sensibilities. It was what he wanted for the Gamera films from the very beginning. Let's talk about our monsters. Of course, we have Gamera, portrayed by suit actor Teruo Aragaki, who had played Gamera in Gamera vs. Barugon, and would play him again the next year in Gamera vs. Virus, and also cross over into the Godzilla franchise, playing Rodan in Destroy All Monsters the same year. The same suit was used for today's film as vs. Barugon, with the eyes modified slightly to look friendlier than they had in the monster's previous two outings. It's an appropriate choice as this begins Gamera's transition to being the friend of all children. Why, it even includes a scene where Gamera deliberately saves a jovial little boy with chubby cheeks named Eiichi from the other title monster, and gives him a ride on his back, returning him home to his friends, waiting at an amusement park on top of a Ferris wheel. When the man retrieving Eiichi can't reach him, he gestures Gamera closer to the ride, and the Titanic Terrapin obediently complies. Less is known about the suit actor who portrayed this movie's antagonist monster, Gyaos, not even his name. Once again, according to Galbraith, he cameos alongside Aragaki in one scene where the highway construction that drives this film's conflict is being discussed. The monster Gyaos himself was partially inspired by the success of Toho's duology of Frankenstein Conquers the World and War of the Gargantuas, and their use of the Frankenstein monster. If the Frankenstein monster could get a Daikaiju-sized update, why not Dracula? So Dai's vampire bat monster was conceived and initially named Bombaya, which I love. While this movie is very fast-paced and action-heavy, it still features the obligatory scientists discuss how to stop the monsters with the military scenes. Yuasa was not a fan. That's the grown-up part of the story. That's boring. Telling you honestly, I really hate it. Since the original Godzilla, it's almost like it's a kind of rule to have scenes like these. Scientists and military men coming together to explain everything. That's why I included it. But the truth is, these people are useless. That's a direct quote from Yuasa. He'd much rather have the monster's weaknesses revealed through the plain and simple observational logic of a child, as is done in this and every following Gamera movie. These are the days of the Kennys in their baseball caps and windbreakers, interrupting governmental proceedings in the shortest of shorts, cutting through bureaucracy and red tape with the logical cry of, "Gyaos seemed to hate the sunlight. Maybe he's a vampire. Let's make some fake blood and get him dizzy enough to stay out till morning." I don't mind the Kennys as much as other fans of these movies do, and I think the use of Eiichi here is actually pretty good. The young actor, Naoyuki Abe, was thought by many studio hangers-on to be director Yuasa's son, though the two were not related. Indeed, Abe himself made this observation repeatedly on set. He's a decent actor as far as I can tell, and plays the role of child friend of monster with a wonderful kind of combination of frustration at being a kid and confidence. Like a tiny Old Testament prophet, frustrated at the lack of faith around him, but confident in Gamera's power. Additionally, he's breaking with tradition here and wearing long pants. One of the long-standing issues people seem to have with the kids in these movies, and even kids in action-oriented children's media, is that kids don't want to be the sidekick. They want to be the superhero. Who would want to be Robin when you can be Batman? Who wants to be Eiichi when you can be Gamera? Well, what if I were to tell you that Eiichi is Gamera? Is your mind blown? No, Eiichi isn't physically Gamera, but they are constantly linked to one another through the language of film. Especially in a scene where a child protagonist imagines Gamera healing under the sea, and fades back to Eiichi sleeping at home. The film encourages kids to see themselves as Eiichi, yes, but also to see themselves as Gamera. All of this is really just to say that in 1967, the Gamera series hit its stride when studio bigwigs finally listened to Noriaki Yuasa, the man with the clear vision. One more quick note. This film was released straight to TV in America by American International Pictures Television in the fall of 1968 as Return of the Giant Monsters in their young adult theater syndication package. In 1985, almost 20 years later, TV producer Sandy Frank acquired the rights to the Gamera movies, and using their international dubs, released them under their international titles on VHS in 1987. These are the versions you saw in Mystery Science Theater 3000, and their dubs are much worse. But now that Gamera is Gamera, let's dive into the rest of 1967's kaiju boom. Everything was quite terrestrial for today's movie. But next, we'll get downright out of this world. You can't see it, but here in the script, the X is capital. That's a clue for the next episode.
Well, I guess you're happy. Now that you can resume work on the expressway.
Yes, we begin tomorrow.
Honorable one.
They are starting work again on the expressway tomorrow.
Are they changing the course?
No, those were just idle rumors.
We thank you.
Honorable, we thank you.
We owe it all to Eiichi.
Hello, I'm Robert Kelly, host and writer of Record All Monsters, and this is an ad for Anchor. That's right, it's an ad for Anchor, and if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. I was really intimidated at first to start this show until I heard about Anchor, and there were a few things that made me feel more at ease to begin. First of all, it's free. They have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, and Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so that it can be heard on a number of platforms, including whichever one you're listening to it on right now. You can even make a little money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And even their ads are easy. The mandatory call to action is something I can state freely. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Doesn't that feel good? This has been an ad for Anchor, and I've been Robert Kelly, host and writer of Record All Monsters.
Return of the Giant Monsters. Return of the Giant Monsters.
I loved the Gummy Bears theme song. I'd basically stop watching after the theme song. Bouncing here and there and everywhere. Okay.
Everybody about to go in. You might got the guitars right here.
Well, I'm already recording, so I think we're going to start it with you singing Gummy Bears. Welcome back to Record All Monsters, Season 2, Episode 2, Gamera versus Gyaos. We're here with a very special guest. First of all, Courtney is here.
Hi.
And our special guest today is Q.
Hey, y'all.
Who, he's been on, 3 times before?
Yeah, at least 3 times, yeah.
And we're talking about Gamera versus Gyaos, as I said. Q, Parker and I told you that the Gamera movies would increase in craziness as they went. Would you say that holds true?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
What part? So let's talk about what happened in the movie. Let's talk about the story a little bit. There's a fat kid.
Oh.
Who's wonderful. And his dad owns a village or something.
He's not fat.
I say it because in the part where he's riding Gamera, he's all like compressed. And he looks a little chubby there.
He's a little chunky kid, but it's baby fat.
He's so happy.
No body shaming.
I didn't say it was a bad thing.
Let's take space here.
So he gets attacked by a monster and Gamera saves him. And
Gamera's for the kids.
Yeah. Gamera's, say it right. Gamera's for the children.
It's for the children. Excuse me. It's for the children.
So then it's basically like 3 more fights between Gamera and this monster bird.
Is he a monster bird? It's like
they call him a vampire bat.
Yeah, I see more bat than bird, but
bats and birds are scientifically the same thing. Look it up. I'm kidding.
I was gonna say,
According to Aaron Rodgers, who's, he's on the right side of everything. That's a joke. The football guy from Green Bay.
You got me on this one?
Oh man, he's been talking.
Amberly used to love him.
He's like, I don't think I have to get a vaccine.
Oh, okay. What's his reasoning behind that?
He's an asshole.
Oh.
Oh God, I gotta bleep that out. Anyway, enough digression.
Yeah.
Hugh, what was your favorite part of this movie?
I like any parts when Gyaos would shoot his laser. And the thing about his laser is that it cuts things in half without making them explode, so they would just cut in half and just fall out the sky. There's this one scene when he did it to a plane, and there were people on the plane, and like it cut in half, and like you just see the people like looking in fear. They like fell to the death because they didn't get to explode. No, the plane still held, and it just fell in two pieces.
And part of what was funny about that to me, that scene in particular, is when the helicopter splits in half. Some people fall out the middle.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when if you get like an egg roll and you tear it in half so you can sop something up, and like little bits of cabbage and pork fall out, and like a carrot strip falls and hits your plate. And that's what it was just like.
That scene, and I think the only other scene that beat that. It's the same thing. A guy fires that laser of his and he hits a car.
Yeah.
And the car literally splits down the middle, right? Like clean down the middle. But the guy on the side that got cut is able to get out this car. And they look like they were on the highway, so they had to be going at least 50. And so the car stops. One half of the car stops. The guy gets out and then gets on the other side, and they continue driving. Nobody want to talk about how they split this car in two, so there's only, theoretically, there should only be 2 tires on that side.
They keep going.
And the engine is fine. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, you can literally see the engine. The engine's not cut in half, just the body. And they just take off like they would go back to 50 with half a car. This movie's amazing.
This movie is wonderful. Oh my goodness. This is one of my favorite Gamera movies. We're 2 away from my absolute favorite, Gamera vs. Giron, which I think Parker said that was his favorite too. But of the 3 Gameras you've seen so far, the original, Gamera vs. Barugon, and this one, what's been your favorite?
This one was so far. This one has been they were all good, and I appreciate Gamera. This one really was just like a step up. It was just fun and entertaining. Like I don't laugh at like Godzilla movies. I just like seeing them, but this one I actually laughed and had a good time in.
Good. Yeah. How have you felt about just the progression of the Gamera movies? Because you're getting this through fresh eyes, and I'm really interested in your reaction to.
I'm excited and invested, and it's just each time it's just more and more and more absurdity, and I'm just loving every minute of it.
What do you think of the closing song?
It's there.
Because that's actually
Already cut.
earlier in this episode, I cut off our theme song to replace it with that song, and it's like 3 minutes long. It's like 5 times as long as a regular theme song, which is 34 seconds. This is like a full 3 minute song. I
liked it. 2 thumbs up from me.
Good. So the next Gamera movie is called Gamera vs. Virus.
Okay.
And
are those the squid ones?
Yes.
Okay.
So I want to get you on record. What are your expectations for Gamera vs.
I have
Virus?
seen clips. I want to say I've seen clips of this on the internets. Is this the one? Does he get pierced in his stomach by one? Mm-hmm. Oh, it's that one.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that one.
This is the last Gamera sequel for the Showa era to not use stock footage in the main movie.
Okay.
Just so you know, when we get to the next ones, there's going to be a lot more stock footage. So you'll get to see parts of this again.
Parts from parts of this fight or parts from this
Parts
movie?
of the fight, yeah.
And the next one, they just kind of cut and spliced them in there?
Yeah, so the focus on kids increases
Okay.
throughout the Gamera series. And they actually go into Gamera's memories through several of them to fill out the runtime.
Okay.
But you, of course, you're a big Godzilla fan, and you've seen a lot of the Godzilla movies of this era. How do they compare for you?
Actually, now that you bring it up to me, they're kind of the same, because in the Showa series, Godzilla, he was more kid-friendly and, more, I don't want to say childlike antics, but jumping around and making jokes. They're just got a little more funny, more applicable to kids. And Gamera's kind of the same way, but Gamera, as I was talking to Courtney earlier, these are way more gory.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I want to say gory, but Gamera bleeds, but it's not like blood. It is blood, but it's not blood because it's not the same color as blood.
Right.
Gamera bites Gyros in the neck and he bleeds. Looks like Pepto-Bismol.
It's like
but it's still even though it's not color of blood, it's still pretty gory. That's still pretty pinch. Like, you never get that in Godzilla, especially in the Showa series.
Well, I mean, in the show, like Godzilla vs. Gigan,
Mechagodzilla too.
you get a little bit,
Yeah.
but it's nothing like this. And like, Gyaos shoots his laser into Gamera's arm,
They find the same place like 5 times.
and he just keeps like pouring.
Oozing.
Yeah, it's like to make another food. It's like a gusher.
Yeah.
It's like-
yes, it does. It just keeps coming out.
That's real pleasant sound for the guy.
Like Robert was saying, this is my first time experiencing this movie, so everything I've seen is like sticking with me. And so every time I see Gyaos, I'm just gonna think about that laser that just cuts things in half without exploding.
Well, Gyaos is the only Gamera monster to show up outside of stock footage twice in the Showa Gamera series. He shows up again in Gamera vs. Giran. So you will get to see more of his laser
So he
in
didn't.
new footage.
So I guess he didn't die from.
Well,
getting dragged.
it's a space Gyaos.
Oh, okay.
So
Mecha Gyaos.
he is painted silver.
Oh wow.
And you brought up the gore, and that's actually a great transition point for our game today.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be pitted up against Parker because he's not here.
Yeah.
But you get to play our game Monster Blood. So we're going to take a quick break.
Oh yeah, this is a fun one.
We're going to take a quick break and come back with the game Monster Blood.
It's the blockbuster that takes you to a whole new height in filmmaking excitement. The unprecedented spectacle that unleashes a mind-blowing array of special effects, electrifying drama, and a bold new mode of cinematic style. Starring that tough guy turtle from another world.
Gamera!
Along with a fresh new face from the latest wave of Brat Pack performers who's flying his way to the top of Tinseltown.
You met the bird, or is it a reptile? They just got it a monster.
Catch the full impact as these two dynamic stars make motion picture history in this thunderous spectacle of epic proportions.
It's a big one.
It's Gamera versus Gyaos.
All right, well, welcome back. We're still here with Q, and we're about to play our game, Monster Blood. This Gamera film, Q, like most, features copious amounts of pink and green Eastman color monster blood, which happens to be the title of a Goosebumps book. Those things were very weird and eternally present throughout my childhood. This tenuous connection was enough for me to decide that today's game should be called Monster Blood, and be about Goosebumps books. What's going to happen here is I'll read you the name and a brief summary of a classic Goosebumps book, and you have to tell me if it's a real one or if I made it up to trick you. As always, both prizes and penalties are prohibited by state and federal law.
Oh, okay.
All right. Question 1. is I Was a Fourth Grade Frankenstein, where a kid is experimented on by his estranged grandfather over spring break, a real Goosebumps book?
You were asking me to go way back into my archives of memories. I've read a Goosebumps book since they were popular. I mean, they are popular, but not way back in the 90s. But that one, what you just described, is not ringing a bell, so I'm going to say that is false.
You are correct. It is not. There's no such thing. If it were real, though, it would have been published in 1995 and been the 24th book in the series. All right, next question. Is Ghost Camp, where two brothers attend a summer camp for the living dead, a real Goosebumps book?
A summer camp for the living dead.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean zombies or ghosts?
For the living dead.
Zombies?
It's called Ghost Camp.
It's Ghost Camp, but it's for the living dead. I'm going to say false.
This one is true.
Oh, wow.
Published in 1996, Ghost Camp was the 45th book in the original series.
This one shows them in like Boy Scout clothes, but no like.
Like skeleton or something?
No, it's just the clothes walking around on the cover.
When I think of Goosebumps, I think of only two covers that still remain in my memory is the one with that big old koala. It looks like a koala, but
oh,
it's blue.
yeah.
Don't say the name. Don't say the names of any of them.
That one.
I love that one.
And then the one with the kid who has it's basically like a mask rip off, but he has a mask and he's pulling it like
I have a blanket of that.
Nice.
Our next question. So you're 1-1 right now.
Okay.
Is Let's Get Invisible, where a kid finds a magic mirror in his attic that turns him invisible. Put your phone down, kid. A real Goosebumps book.
Yes.
It is indeed. It was the 6th book in the series and originally going to be the final one when published in 1993.
Wow.
Yeah. All right.
But then they were like, he makes us so much money.
Mm-hmm. Now, I read as many of the real ones as I could find from this game to make sure that I wasn't misrepresenting anything.
Okay.
With that in mind, is The Barking Ghost, where the scaredy cat new kid in town and his only friend swap bodies with some ghost dogs, a real Goosebumps book?
No.
It is.
Oh, dang.
Published in 1995, it is the 32nd book in the series. And you're 2 and 2, like you keep splitting the difference, man.
We had that one and one that was in like a treasury, so there were like 2 or 3, and you opened it and it howled.
Oh,
and
wow.
the lights lit up. It was so fun. Like the eyes lit up, that's what I meant.
One Halloween I dressed up as that mask. Halloween. They had light up eyes and everything.
Yes.
Next question. Is The Haunted Department Store, where a kid stocking shelves as a summer job discovers a coven of witches selling cursed clothes and toys owns the store, a real Goosebumps book?
That one is fake.
That one is fake.
I would read
I think that'd be good, though.
that though, yeah.
I think that'd be good.
That feels like one that would have been on the show, but not. Like, there were a few that weren't.
This reminds me of what was that show that was when I was a kid?
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Afraid of the Dark.
Afraid of the Dark.
What was that stuff they blew into the fire?
I never knew.
I forgot what they said it actually was.
Probably sand.
Was it gunpowder?
Cremains. Hey, my mom has this jar of dirt.
This special dark salted dirt.
I don't know why she keeps it up on the mantle, but I figured we could use
But I
it.
brought it here.
All right, we've got 2 more questions, and right now you are leading 3-2.
Okay.
Is The Blob That Ate Everyone, where an aspiring horror writer accidentally brings his stories to life with a magic typewriter, a real Goosebumps book?
That one's real.
That is real, Q. I didn't need a magic typewriter for it to be true either. Published in 1997, it's the 55th
God dang.
book in the series.
I didn't read 55 Goosebumps. I know that for a fact.
And Our final question. So you have, let's see. Yeah, you're up 3-2 at this point. No, 4 to. You get 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4-2.
Okay.
So you won.
Yes.
But this is for pride.
Okay.
Is Monster Blood 6, where the kid from the other Monster Blood books discovers that his school cafeteria now serves a fruit juice that contains monster blood as an ingredient, a real Goosebumps book?
True.
It is not.
That's what I said too when he ran this by.
But it would have been the 73rd and very last book in the original series if it were true.
There's a Monster Blood on the show, I think, and it does have a large chunk that takes place in a cafeteria.
I just thought, what's the 90s-est thing that could happen?
Yeah.
Like, fruit juice.
Yep.
Kids rule. Stuff.
Well, my favorite one is one that would have made a good one. It's called Egg Monsters from Mars. And
Is there a Misfits song about that? Egg Monsters from Mars.
Yeah,
My favorite Misfits song is Last Caress.
Yeah, mine too. It's so good. Nosebleed.
Oh no. Well, with that cue, you have won the game at 4-3. And we are going to go ahead and sign out of this section of the show. Thanks for being on, as always,
Thanks
Q.
for having me. It's a pleasure. I can't wait for the next one.
You're a blast to have over. And we'll send Parker this recording and be like, ha ha.
Please do.
You missed it.
Yeah, Park, you missed it.
But, stay tuned. I'm going to talk at y'all some more. I'm pointing at the computer screen like the people are there, but they're not. They're in the microphone.
I'm not in my head like people can see me.
We'll be right back. So I've withheld this episode for a day because today, the day I'm releasing this, is Saturday, November the 27th, and it is Gamera's birthday. So happy birthday, Gamera. Here's our conversation between myself and Q. Next week we'll have another chapter from King Kong, and I'm hoping a very special surprise the week after that. But that's in the works. So between now and then, remember that monsters are your friends, and you may have noticed I'm not playing the outro theme here. And that's because there is another special treat. Our guest this episode, Q, who special thanks to, of course, and I play music together sometimes, and we have an original little blues jam that I'm gonna go out on for this episode. So hope you enjoy it. Hope you had a great holiday weekend if you're in America. And yeah, remember that monsters are your friends. Yeah, let's just go for a little bit and eat.
You want to walk in or you want to fall into it? Come on, what do you want? You want to walk into it or you want to fall into it?